Before I get into my point, GamerSupps is having a sale. It lasts until either the 9th of February at 2 p.m. EST, which is 8 p.m. CET, or when stocks run out. Instead of my usual 10% that you can save on any order on the website using my code Thorin, Thorin, actually you get 22% off anything you order. GamerSupps Delicious Energy Formula, GamerSupps teas, they have the L-theanine one if you want to go to sleep with no caffeine in. They have waifu cups, they have all sorts of stuff on the website, loads of flavours, check it out. Obviously the sale ends on the 9th or when stocks run out, 22% off. Now, there's a classic thing you'll hear so often in interviews with players, especially at events, and they seem to think this is clever or profound or slick to say, but it's so inane when you actually look at it, and it's incredibly asinine for top players to say this, like it's some amazing insight. So what they do is they go, it's way better to be an underdog, or rather I prefer to be an underdog because then there's like no pressure and then I can just play free and then I actually tend to play better. And it's like, no shit, mate. Because that means you have no expectations on you. Like when you say, like, if you were to rephrase that as just, playing without pressure is easier. It's like, yeah, and if you don't go out in a training, you won't get wet. What are you talking about, mate? What the fuck are you talking about? In this scenario, to be one of the best, this analogy would be if you needed to get wet. That was actually part and parcel of being the best in this analogy. So, the problem is that's a bad thing, that people don't have any expectations, that don't think you can win, think that you're supposed to lose the game, so then you can just be like, oh, who gives a fuck? Oh, I guess I won't get flamed, and then you just do whatever you want. Like, here's the thing. Pressure comes from expectations. Expectations come from being good, so people expect something from you, and then they expect you to win against other people who presumably they think are worse than you. That's a good thing for people to think you're very good because you are very good. You can't fake this. Like, if you're not good, you're not going to be thought of as very good for a long time. If you're actually secretly good, you're not going to be thought of as bad. That's why it's such a stupid thing to say. It just really doesn't have anything. Like, you actually want the preconditions of expectations, which come from being good, come from people expecting things of you. Like, it's very, very unlikely you'll ever be a dominant, great team or a champion if you're considered an underdog often. So I'll tell you what the problem with this whole, like, it's good to be an underdog is. Like, that's okay if you're like the 8th or the 11th or the 13th team in the world. If you're a top 5 or a top 6 or 7 team or a team that's been to finals or even won a tournament, you are a fucking loser. That is a loser's mentality from someone who wants life as easy as possible, but they've picked an incredibly hard competitive field where it's brutal and it's all about if you have the expectations you don't live up to them, you get killed, and you're going, but I don't want that part, but I want all the positives and all the upside. Yeah, great. And, I'd like my fucking legs to be made out of, like, horse legs so I just run 10 times. What are you fucking talking about here? Great players and winners do it when it's hard. In fact, I'll go further. I think great players want the expectation. They want the pressure that comes with people knowing they're really good and expecting them to win and making them the favourite, even if they might not actually be it, because they want to show the world on the big stage. Who are these people trying to hide and then act like they're a genius as though they've, like, hacked the system or something?
Events come and go, fame rises and then falls away. You have a job, you lose a job. You do one thing, you have to move on to another. But one of the cool things about my career is I have my own support network who's always got my back. So I always know I can rely on support to do the work I want to do and talk the way I want to talk and not have to follow certain rules that others arbitrarily have to follow. And that support group is, of course, called the Scrilluminati, my Patreon community. This video and all the others on my channel was kindly supported by Matt Pugnatio Rajcula, Frisky, Ahmed Hadjou, Tobias Bernasconi, Torin, Tosh, Jensen Goh, Animosity, and you know it, always my main man Jerky's minion, rocking with me, ride or die. Would you like to suggest a topic or a guest for a future episode of Reflections or a talk show? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming guests are? Maybe you want to ask me a question for my video AMA where I tend to go quite in depth, or perhaps you want to take part in one of those really long donated discussions where we talk about whatever you're into in esports. Well, if any of those perks or any of the others catch your fancy, join the Scrilluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box where? Down below.